Stand by. You got it.
So who decides when our grapes are ready to be picked?
I do, and
How do you know when they're ready to be picked?
I taste the seed. Well, I chew them, and I spit the seeds out in my hand. So if they're green, they're not ready. If they're red, if they're brown, they're ready. If they're green and brown, it means they're almost ready.
And when do we decide to pick? Who says time to pick?
I do.
You do? Hey everybody, Keith Saarloos and
Brielle Saarloos.
coming to you live and direct from the place I think I feel most at home, which is the back room of our tasting room. And we chose this today to talk about this current summer wine club shipment. And I invited Brielle here to be a part of it because this is a part of your exit interview. And I want to tell you about these wines, but I also want to tell you what it took to get here, why we're here, and why this club shipment is probably the most special shipment we've ever had. So, Brielle is about to go off to college, and it is bittersweet for me because I know that 18 years ago, our family, my wife and I, moved here to raise Brielle. That was our entire goal. Making wine wasn't even really part of it. It was just we knew that this was the place we wanted to plant our children so they could grow. The San Ynez Valley, Los Olivos in particular, being close to my folks, being part of a community was really, really important to us. And most people get into wine because they love wine and they want to make it. But that's not really our story. Wine was a way that we could feed kids. And everything that we do, every label that we make, is meant to do one of two things. It's either meant to honor those that have come before us or prepare the way for those yet to come. So let me tell you a little story about this wine club shipment. Our very, very first wine is this, and this wine is called Glory. And Glory is a proprietary red, and what that means is it's our blend. It's a bunch of different wines that are coming together, singing the symphony. It's not the individual solos, it is the choir. And on the picture, on the label, is a picture of my dad back in Cerritos College when he was roughly your age, pitching a baseball. And my dad had three loves in his life. The first would be baseball. He loved it since he was a little teeny kid. The second would be my mom, and the third would be farming. I can trace today back to this photo because one of the things I want you to hear is be careful with what you fall in love with. Because my dad loved baseball. And because my dad loved baseball, he worked hard at it, he loved to do it. Kirk fell in love with baseball because of that. And Kirk went on to play in the pros. This year he played in the College World Series, which we all went out and celebrated with him as a family. But the reason my dad loved baseball was he loved community. He loved being on a team. He loved working hard. And back in Cerritos College, he played for a guy named Wally Kincaid, and Wally Kincaid is the winningest coach in baseball, basically. He has won more games than John Wooden and has lost only 14 more games. But when I look at this photo, I want you to think about what you're going into now, going into college. Because the things that you do now will ripple in effect for generations. I chose to do this in this room because you are now you've graduated from high school, and as you enter college, you are now becoming part of this wall. And this wall is full of our family history. It's a way that we get to honor those that have come before us. There's pictures of my great-grandparents driving out from Iowa to California in a car with flat tires. There's a picture of Grandpa. There's a great photo here of Mom and Dad and Uncle Harv on the back of a Jeep when they were younger than you. And you are now making that step from being a kid to being the plus symbol in between honor and prepare. And everything that you do from this time forward, and I hope you do it, is meant to honor either the families and the people that have come before you, and you're doing it to prepare the way for everybody who's yet to come. And seeing you make this transition from high school to college, for me, it was my only goal in life. Wine is something that came along and supported that goal. So I love this wine. I think it's unbelievable. I'm so proud that Dad's picture's on the front of it. I'm so proud that we as a family got to travel and support each other with Kirk. And I was just sitting there the other day thinking about how Kirk got to where he is today because of an 18-year-old kid that played baseball. And it's just part of our story. Mm-hmm. The prepare. This is called Hanyaker. And on the label is a picture of Cash driving our 1950 Chevy. I taught him how to drive stick in that old car in the back of this field. Took a picture of him. He did a couple burnouts. He is where you were 4 years ago. And he looks up to you. And we talk about it a lot. And what you're doing today and the example that you have set for him, I couldn't be happier about it. He's a Hanyaker. He's nuts. He is much more me than I wish. But he is watching what you're doing, and he is going to emulate it. You have allowed your brother to see how to be a success. And I can't thank you enough for that. So this wine is a wine that we made a few years ago, mostly because we had some Syrah left over, some Grenache left over, and some Sauvignon Blanc left over. I'm sorry, Grenache Blanc left over. And we did a field blend. So we picked it all, we put it all in one bin. Basically, we did that because every single barn in this valley was full. It was like trying to sell Christmas trees on December 26th. And we took it, we made it, and it was a bit of a flyer. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we mixed those three things together to try to create something that nobody's ever done before. And I've never heard of a Grenache Blanc, Syrah, and Mourvedre in my life. And it became one of our fastest selling, best selling wines. So this is me telling you, take risks. Take big risks. Take risks that may not work out, but feed your soul. And I think every time I open a bottle of this, I think of Dad, I think of our family, and taking a huge, massive risk to support and to feed kids so that we could take off the roof and you could blast into space. Our final wine is your wine, and it's called 17, and this year we called it Future. And you and I have made this wine together since you were how old?
10 years old.
10 years old.
Younger.
Younger. So when you were, every single one of our Sauvignon Blancs has been named after you. I didn't know if you knew that, but I was looking. You knew that. So the first one was called Brielle. Then we had Hunter, your middle name. We had Daddy's Girl. And then when we were 10 years old, I said, what should we name it? And you said, I'm 10, how about 10? Mm-hmm. And now we're up to 17. Mm-hmm. And this photo in particular is really special to me because this is when we were harvesting first grapes after Dad passed away. And it was a bit of a struggle for our whole family because this was the thing Dad was in love with. And going out and picking these grapes without him left a big, huge hole. Kirk flew in. We picked these grapes. We made this wine. And I loved the photo of you standing on top of these grapes, throwing this superhero pose. Mm-hmm. And it just made me know that wherever you go in life, you have this inside of you. As you don't know, but we know that part of our conversation is you have to let me know by your sophomore year in college what you're going to do with your life. And a lot of people have been coming in, they've seen you graduate, and they go, oh, is Brielle going to come back and run this whole place? And my answer is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think you've given me, what, a soft no? Was it a soft no?
It's a soft no, unfortunately. Not because I don't love it, just a soft no, though.
And I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier with that. Mm-hmm. Because I need you to figure out 4 things. What you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what the world is willing to pay you for. Mm-hmm. And all 4 of those things for me is this. For you, it could be anything in the world you want to be. If you want to be president, I think you can do it. Madam President has a great sound to it. But this process of you and I picking grapes together, making wine together, designing the labels together, and putting your name and your face on it, you have been the face of this bottle for 12 years now, or even more. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of this wine. Every time we talk about it, I always talk about this wine as your personality in a glass. It's bright, it's crisp, has a bit of an edge to it, and it's absolutely beautiful. My question to you, in these last 18 years of growing up here, being a part of this family, I mean, you saw this was a spa before it was a tasting room. And you grew up on the floor of this place. You were raised in a bar. And you've met thousands of people that have come through the front door. They know you personally. I want to hear from you what the last 18 years of your life have been to you, what you're bringing with you into college, and where you think you're going to go. Floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Well, I just mean that this bottle, 17, just in general, just the Sauvignon Blanc has always been such a big part of my life and such a representation of not only who I have been in that past year, but also just the relationship that I have with my family that I'm very grateful to have with all of you. But, 17, it's a bittersweet transition year, It was the second time that we harvested without Grandpa. It cementing that kind of, that loss. But, it's kind of one of those things. It was like the last year of my true childhood here. I turned 18 and, I'm headed to college in 10 days. And I might not be here for the next harvest, which is another very difficult thing for me to wrap my head around because that has been such a major part of my life all growing up. I've never known a time where running through the vineyards and tasting the grapes and going out there with Dad and Grandpa and Cash and Mom. And it's a little bit difficult to think about leaving behind or even just moving away from, knowing that I won't be 5 minutes down the street from Grandma's house or, can just walk up the hallway to talk to you and Mom about all the difficult transitions in my life that come with being 17, that come with being 18 now. This is the physical representation of the end of my childhood, which is hard to say out loud. Everyone still wants to be a kid. And I reckon I'm still young, all these things. The nice part about this is that in the name future, and as I'm making the next step, I'm moving away. I'm moving to Texas. I'm moving to my second home with Kristen and Kirk, and Grandma's going to be out there. I'm still going to have people 5 minutes away, still a phone call away. And, I don't think I could go anywhere without having that link to my family. Not everybody, especially my age, is lucky enough or even really has that connection with the people in their lives, with the people who raised them. And I think this bottle is a perfect representation of that. The name future is also, at least for me, coincides with the word opportunity.
Ah, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not as much as bittersweet as it is that I'm leaving this place. I'm moving to a bigger bubble with more opportunity. I was able to expand myself in this place that we had, and that's why I've been here for the last 18 years, but it's ready. You wanted to raise me here, and you've raised me here, and now it's time for me to take my next steps.
You've outgrown the pot.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of that. And I want you to know that wherever you go, whatever you do in your life, one of the things that we say as a family is that we win together and we lose together. We're sitting here today with these bottles in front of us because Grandpa left home, my grandpa left home at 13 years old and set out on his own because his dad died. His dream was to be a farmer, and he fell in love with that. Just like with Glory, Grandpa fell in love with baseball, and my grandpa fell in love with farming, and that's why my dad, your grandpa, wanted to do what we're doing today. You are standing in a long line of people who are not only chasing their dreams, but are chasing them grabbing them and wrestling them to the ground. Because this is not an easy place to live. We have worked hard, we have struggled every single day. We have done everything we can so that people, when they taste our wine, they feel our love. They feel our family inside of the bottle. And I want you to know that every single person on this wall is so proud of you. I get to say it. But every decision that these people have made in their life to better it, to give their kids a better life than they had, has continued. And that is your charge. Your charge is to make all of the work that these people have done, driving out from Iowa to California, leaving Bellflower, coming here, failing at growing apples, planting grapes, running coffee shops, making a spa, having another kid. All of this has built up to this wonderful moment, and I just see you in my mind at the top of the rocket ship ready to blast off. And I want you to know that every single person on this wall is standing with you and behind you, and anything you want to do, we are all backing you. That we have your back. I love you so much.
Love you too.
I'm so sad that this little everyday part of our lives are ending. But the last thing I would tell you is pick a great partner. And I've been blessed. When I was in college and I saw your mom for the first time, I knew she was it. Just like Grandpa knew my mom was it. And when life comes at you like Red Rover, lock your arms and take it. Because I will hold the shield for you as long as I can. I want you to go out there and be an absolute success. You're the first Saarloos that can be whoever they want to in this world. And I am so proud of that. I'm so proud of you. If you are a red only, if you're not getting 17, which is insane, we have this. And this is a wine that the rest of the club won't get for a long time. This is called Niece. And Niece is Emery. And Emery is your cousin, my niece. This is a beautiful photo of her. It's our estate Cabernet Franc. It's a wonderful, big, robust, beautiful wine in a beautifully, beautiful package. And it just reminds me so much of this gorgeous photo of Emery. Last but not least, our brand new rosé is released. It's called Cash's Crush. Cash has turned 14 and is a bit of a monster of a kid.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Almost as tall as me, strong as an ox, and this is probably the last time I can put a picture of him that's cute as a little button before he goes, "Come on, Dad." So when you look at this and you look at Mayhem, which is a picture of him at 14, it's the exact same grape. One is just picked a little younger than our Mayhem, our Royal Red. We've been doing this for 15 years now. I want to tell you that every day I've gotten up in my life and went to work and did a bunch of stuff I didn't want to do, I literally did it for you. You changed my life the day you were born. And I'm so proud of you. It's been the absolute pleasure of my life to be able to call you my daughter. And I thank you. I know I can't wait to see where you're going to go in life. I know they are going to watch as well. So I will finish this in the way that I finished every video with our family creed. You're going to have to do the other half. We live to honor those that have come before us.
And to prepare the way for those to come.
Bye, everybody. Cheers. Your sisters?
One brother, he's
And what is he going to be when he grows up? What do we hope?
we hope he's gonna be just like my dad.